Aaron. It's Everyday Aaron with underscores between it on Instagram.
All right, well, it's nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is his carry, at least for the show. So I see we've got a V2 Giltech Rock, and I guess that's, is that blue anode? He doesn't do that anymore, right? Is that powder coated? Because it doesn't look anode.
I think it is.
Is it anode?
Powder coated. I think so.
It's powder
Limited
coated.
Limited run recently.
He's been doing a lot of those. We also have, I'm not up on this. What is this?
This is the D20 die.
D20. All right, I'm not up on that. I don't know.
Little fidget toy.
Yeah. This is a salt. Is that a dragonfly?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, salt edition. We have the M1T Raider. Is that that is the tactical version, right?
It is. Yeah, the better version.
The better version.
The American
and then we have
version.
Maxpedition. That's the one I carry in my backpack too. So
Awesome.
very good. You carry all this in there?
I can. Yeah.
You can.
Otherwise, I just don't have it in my pockets.
All right. Well, thanks for saying hey, man.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
And Everyday Aaron on Instagram.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, man.
I'm abusing it already. I heard a scratch. I heard a scratch.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin. This is the best damn EDC. And, well, as many of you know, I spent the last weekend in Atlanta. I'm still very exhausted. I'm not quite recovered. I just came back and really went straight back to work. But originally, I was not going to go to Blade Show. So you guys have heard me talking about it for a while. But originally, I was really on the fence about it. And Zach from Blade HQ gave me a call and said, hey, let's make a video together. So, well, that happened. And that was one of the main reasons I went. But really, honestly, I've done trade shows in the past, a lot of trade shows, but this one was totally different, not only because I was there for myself and my own company that I've built from the ground up with immense help from you guys, but also because, well, you guys were there. A lot of you guys were there, and you all said hello, and that was amazing just to meet a lot of you guys in person, but also because I got so much support from people I did not expect. Like, I went there with 1,000 business cards in hand just to try to get the word out, to tell people what I was doing and what I had started, and the response from businesses and other people there was just astounding. There were so many people who were genuinely interested in what I was doing. It was just amazing, it was humbling, and I honestly could not have asked for a better turnout and for a better trade show for me, and all I can really say is thank you. If you were there, you said hello, anything, thank you so much. But with that being Blade Show, well, I came home with a few goodies. Lots and lots of stickers and patches and pins. The stickers are going on my toolbox. The patches are already on the headliner of my truck. And here are the other goodies that I came home with. Some of them I purchased myself. Some of them were gifted to me. Some of them were sent to me to make a video. So this is the spread, the haul from Blade Show 2019. And with that said, let's do the damn thing. Before I go any further, I want to say that I did not really cover Blade Show the way I had expected. I went into it without much of a game plan, and I really wanted to do some impromptu pocket dumps with people and just cover the show as best I could without really knowing what I was walking into. Really, it just turned into me slinging business cards at anybody who would look at me, which turned out to be a pretty effective method. But yeah, I didn't really cover the show in the way that maybe some of you wanted me to, or that other people normally do. I went into it with very few expectations and came out just totally blown away. But yeah, it was not, I don't even know what all was announced at the show. I haven't watched the Blade HQ videos yet. Like, there's a lot that I missed, a ton that I missed. I did not catch a lot of people. I wanted to talk to Serge Panchenko. He was gone when I finally made it around to his booth on Sunday, as was the case for many other people that I wanted to talk to. I was just totally blindsided by the way that Friday and Saturday went down, and in the best way possible. It was such a great experience. But let's just say that Blade Show 2019 changed the trajectory of this channel, not the direction that I'm going, not the content that I'm covering, but just the people I know and the people that I can collaborate with moving forward. And wow, I'm just so excited to be back making content, but also for the future of this channel and where things are headed. With that out of the way, first up is this bad knife right here. You guys have been trying to talk me into getting an OTF for quite some time. I always thought that would probably be a Microtech. Microtech did have a Blade Show special, but the knife that was for that special was a spear point. It did come with a pure silver coin, but I wanted a knife that I wanted, not something that was just on special. And there were many of these. There was actually a Blade Show special of this one in blue, but I ended up going with this one because I missed those. They went pretty quickly, and the plain OD green went right out from under my nose. I was holding it in my hand. I sat it on the table. A guy picked it up and said, "Hey, can I buy this one?" And that was the last. It was gone. So I went with this battle worn finish, and little did I know at the time that this was serial number 0003 of only 10. They only made 10 of this version, so it's a pretty special knife. And oh man, I had heard a few good things about this knife, but it's super smooth. It is super smooth. So what's different about this is the slide actually is separated from the aluminum housing with a steel plate, and that rides on 3 ceramic balls, and it is ridiculously smooth. There's no grittiness. It is just butter. And then there's also this side lock mechanism that does not ride along the blade, so you're not getting those wear marks on the blade that you get from different OTF knives. As you can see on the blade steel is Elmax, and this is a stone washed finish. I don't know if it's DLC coated or what. It doesn't quite look or feel like DLC, but it has been tumbled. But yeah, I love the look of this thing. It looks already beat up and battle worn, and I do like it. Anyway, this knife retails for about $280. They had a Blade Show special where it was $200 cash. If you paid with the card, it was still $280. So I went to the ATM, paid the ridiculous ATM fees at Blade Show, $5 a pop, and they limited you to $100 per transaction or per withdrawal. So paid another $10, but still $210 cash for this right here. Not so bad. I'm happy with it. Nice little fidget toy that's driving Alex crazy already, and probably you guys watching because it's loud. There's no way to quietly deploy this knife. The only thing I will say about it is the very tip of the blade rides very close to the edge. Maybe you can see it right here. It rides very close. If you run your finger over it, it's not cutting me, but it does catch my finger. I don't really have a worry of it deploying in my pocket or anything, because if it hits anything on the way out, it will disengage the blade. But yeah, there we go. First OTF knife for me. That is the Guardian Tactical Recon 035. Pretty sweet little pickup. Next up is this sweet little friction folder. I've been eyeing these for such a long time, since way before I even worked with Justin on the video feature for him and his Coke tools and the knife that he was launching with WeKnife. But this is the Wasp from Coke Tools, and it's just a sick little blade. It's highly impractical. Honestly, I don't know that I'm going to carry or use this a ton. I have been using it since I got it, but I don't know that it's going to be something I use a ton. It's going to be more of a trophy, a token of appreciation for Justin and the awesome work he does. These things are kind of expensive for what they are, and it's a lot of hard work from him. He was pumping these out like a madman before Blade Show. I love the design of this thing, even if it is small and not exactly something I want to carry all the time, because it's also kind of chunky. It's actually over half an inch thick. And this has a CPM 154 blade steel, a very short cutting edge, and a very small handle that's really only big enough for 2 fingers. That's why I put this leather lanyard on here, so you can actually get a pretty good grip on it, but you can grip it pretty well. And if you practice a little, you can actually use this thing one-handed. But this upswept tip right here, let me tell you, that is some sharp stuff right there. I have poked myself and cut myself. Actually, I just scraped my finger along it just now, but I've poked myself and stuck myself a couple times since I got this thing, and it hurts. It hurts, and it bled. This one bled for quite some time. These things are sweet. They retail for $200, so a pretty penny for a small knife. But these are pretty tough to manufacture, especially they're handmade. So I'm happy to have this in my collection. And on my way out, he also tossed a little OD micarta bullnose bead is what he calls them. I had one on the pry tools that he sent for the video, but I also got this on the way out. So thanks, Justin. Thanks for being awesome. And this knife, I'm really happy to have it. So keep slaying, keep making awesome stuff. So that concludes the stuff that I bought. I know a lot of you have been hearing me talk about the Olight S1R Baton in blasted titanium. This is the one I've wanted all along to complete my titanium carry, which I have done, except for the wallet. Still working on the wallet, but I got close enough that I'm happy with it. Everything's silver, and it looks pretty sick. And the reason I was after this was not only because it's a blasted titanium, but because unlike all of the other Olight flashlights, this one actually has a very warm tone light. So a lot of Olight flashlights are very cool. This one is very warm, and that is exactly why I wanted this light in particular. It could have been the black one with this LED, and I would probably still be happy. You guys know about the S1R Baton II. If you don't, I made a video covering all of Olight's recent flashlights, so that'll be linked down below and up here. So go check it out. Here. It'll be over here. Saturday, I made it by the Buck booth and talked to them for a while, and on my way out, I was literally walking away, and I did not ask for anything. I was just talking, and the guy I was speaking with, I think he had something to do with the design of this knife. He was a designer for Buck, and I gave him my spiel about what I do, what the channel's about, you guys, and what you do to make this channel awesome. And he was talking about this, where Buck started. He gave me like the full history of Buck knives. As he got to this knife, which I've been eyeing this knife for a while because of OD micarta, right? And also S30V on a Buck knife, which is really, really neat. I've been eyeing this, and I just said, I think you guys knocked it out of the park, modernizing the Buck 110. I think it's a really great step forward. I've not actually used one until now, but just looking at this thing, I think it was a great step forward for Buck. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of is how wide and obvious this clip is, so I would love something a little more discreet for this. But although I'm not a massive lockback fan, the rest of this knife has a lot of good stuff going for it. It is a big knife. It's bigger than I expected. I mean, I've held a Buck 110, but some reason this one just looked smaller in the pictures, and I think it's just because it is the slim version. So if you're not aware, this is the Buck 110 Slim Pro. So you get the same lockback, the same shape and design, but it is slimmer, and you have your thumb studs for one-hand opening and your S30V. So everything the Buck 110 was for our fathers and grandfathers, but in a way that we would want it and want to be able to carry it. So a pocket clip, thumb stud, and micarta, of course. But that is the Buck 110 Slim Pro. These things retail for anywhere from about $89, $90 to $110. Just depends on where you find it online, but you can get these for, you know, 89 bucks, give or take. So I've seen these knives online. This one was actually talked about quite a bit in the press recently. This is the Wesson Goods Almond knife, and it is an S35 VN flipper on bearings with a frame lock. It's a titanium frame lock knife. Pretty interesting thing. I'd seen this. I had also seen their tiny little knife, which is called the Microblade, and I had not seen this, but this is a quick release keychain in grade 5 titanium. I made my way to this booth right before Blade Show ended, and I almost missed them. I missed them on Saturday, almost missed them on Sunday, but I was glad I got to stop in and talk. So this is also a titanium frame lock flipper with a 1-inch blade, and the action on it is pretty great. The one problem I have with it so far is that this lock bar doesn't lock up perfectly, and you can actually push it in. There's a little play in the lock bar. I have reached out to see if they've got anything to say about that, or if it's maybe a lemon or what the case is, but this is an AUS 8 steel on this. And like I said, you've got a flipper, frame lock, and a very, very small keychain size knife. They also sell it with a little leather pouch. But this one is not the one I'm super interested in. I was far more interested in the Almond. This thing is really interesting. It's got a different blade shape, almost like a spay blade, I guess, but it's definitely different. It'll catch your eye, and it's got really good action, and it's just, this one feels like it was made a lot better than the smaller Microblade. The thing about this knife is I don't know who manufactures it. So I know that Wesson designs it, but they're pretty tight-lipped about who the manufacturer is. I don't know. There's no design tell that tells me who makes this. I really don't know much of anything. I don't know much about the quality control or anything about any of this stuff, but I will be talking about the Wesson Goods stuff after I've used it a little more. But this one, just for your reference, is a quick release keychain made out of grade 5 titanium. This retails for about 40 bucks. This knife right here, again, OS 8, is $50. And this, the Almond, is, I believe, $150, which is fairly reasonable for $150. It's definitely not the best bargain out there. There are definitely better buys out there, but if the design speaks to you and you're looking for a titanium frame lock flipper on bearings, this could definitely fit the bill for you. So there you go. That is the stuff from Wesson Goods. Next up, we've got some stuff from Work Sharp. This little piece right here is just, I think, like a little party favor. Just a little handout thing that they do at trade shows. It's not for sale right now. It might be, they told me. I think he said like $10, $15, maybe $20. I don't know. So you've got a little diamond steel here that has guided, like a bevel guide on either side, just like most of your little handheld Work sharpeners. You have a ceramic rod on the other side, again with guides. And in the middle here, you have this little holder for 1/4-inch hex bits. 3 Torx bits come in it, and if you take one out of there, you've got a tiny little hex wrench right there. The thing is that this is not magnetic. That's the only downside. So that bit will just straight up fall out if you turn this upside down. Just a little neat tool. I don't know if they're going to be selling them, but this right here is the one that everybody wanted to see. This is the Benchmade Work Sharp Edge Maintenance Tool. And it's not out yet, but it will be coming out July 1st. They'll retail for 50 bucks. And as you can see, this was obviously a collaboration between Benchmade and Work Sharp. That is a Crooked River pivot collar. And this right here is the mini deep carry clip, the same one that you'll see on the bailout and the bug out. Same exact clip, which is pretty neat. And then on the inside, you have a ceramic rod, again with your bevel guides, and then your reverse bevel guides and a leather strap that has a compound built in from the get-go, I believe. I can't be sure about that. I don't have a ton of information on these because they're not out yet, but the only other thing to mention is that right here, if you use the spine of a blade, you can actually rotate that ceramic rod so you can use different sides of it. It's all the same. It's not like the one in the field sharpener where it goes from coarse to fine. From my knowledge, I think it's the same all the way around, but you can rotate it if it gets dirty, just so you can use all sides of the ceramic rod. Pretty cool little tool. It's not something I carry in my pocket every day, but it is something that I would throw in a bag. It is MOLLE compatible as well, so throw it in a bag, throw it in a little EDC pouch or something like that. That's where this one will go for me, and this one would probably do the same if I didn't have this, but this one is more of a sharpener, just like an emergency sharpener, because you have a little diamond rod and a ceramic rod, but this one is just a honing tool, so it's a maintenance tool, it's not a sharpener. Next up, we got a wallet, and I've been eyeing these ever since they started popping up in the EDC Weekly. This is the Hellbent Holsters 3.0. This is made of billet aluminum. This clip on the back is titanium. It's a pretty heavy wallet when compared to something like the Trayvac Summit or the Contour even though this is aluminum, it's got some heft to it, but it's also pretty slim. So the money clip does come out. So I've got my business card on there right now, but the clip comes out, and this right here is what your wallet turns into. And this as a front pocket wallet, ooh, perfect. I like this as a front pocket wallet more than just about anything I've carried so far. I've carried a lot of wallets, but this one, it just keeps everything inside. So when you've got the Summit wallet, your cards are exposed on many corners. This one, you've got a little exposed right here, but it's not enough for it to, like, when you grab your wallet for anything to move. But then when your wallet's out of your pocket, it's easy to get stuff out of this and back in. I will be doing a more in-depth video on the Hellbent Holsters wallet. This is the 3.0. There are many different versions. At the show, they have tons of one-offs that can get pretty spendy, but this one right here is $99.99 for the wallet and another $30 for the titanium clip. So $130 for this. That's nothing to scoff at. It's still pretty expensive. It's badass. I like it. So I was talking about the Half Dome. I've not talked about the Half Dome on this channel, but I've posted about it plenty, and this was the knife that I carried for most of Blade Show. It's made by a company in Georgia, Summit Knife Company. It is manufactured by Fox Knives. It's got an M390 blade, and I really like this knife. When it was first announced, I wasn't so sure I would love it. The blade shape is a little interesting. It's almost like a reverse tanto, and this knife just looks weird. It looks like maybe like a Salvador Dali version of a Jesper Voxnez knife, you know, like a Suru that just got a little distorted. And I told him it gave me some Jesper vibes when I first got this thing. It still does. But honestly, if I'm going to be honest, as a user, I actually prefer this knife over the Suru. And I know not everybody's going to like it, but I do. I do like this knife, and it's a pretty decently priced knife. This, I believe, the micarta version and the G10 version, I believe, are around $180. And then there is an all titanium version, which I have at home. That one is $220. And the difference is that the all titanium version actually comes with the same clip that I have on my all titanium Suru. It is a milled titanium clip with a zirconium ball. But this knife, the G10 and the micarta versions actually come with a wire clip. And I was not a fan of this wire clip. I like it. I didn't have many problems with the look of it, but it didn't have quite the retention I wanted. So when I had this in my front pocket, when I put my backpack on, I'd pick my backpack up out of my truck and sling it over my back. It launched the knife out of my pocket like 2 or 3 times. And one day, scuffed up the back of the blade, which is no real big deal. The knife withstood quite a beating from that, but it was just annoying that it kept flying out of my pocket. I was afraid that it was going to fly out of my pocket, I wouldn't notice, and then I would lose the knife. So lo and behold, I actually was staying in an Airbnb with Rip's Garage Tech, which didn't even know it was him at first. He's the guy that makes some micarta scales for paramilitary 2s and paramilitary 3s, all sorts of aftermarket scales, but he also makes aftermarket clips. And he saw my knife. He just saw that, like, we were on the show floor on Sunday. He saw my knife and he was like, "You need a new clip. I don't like that. You need a new clip." He saw this poking out of my pocket. The next morning, he handed me this. If I'm not mistaken, it's an aftermarket clip for a Spyderco Techno. It's got a very similar setup. This was pressure fit by me. It doesn't quite fit, but I was able to really push on it and beat on it with a piece of wood to get it down in there. And I would tighten the screw and beat on it some more and tighten the screw. And with a milled titanium clip, perfect. I love it now. Oh, and that milled clip is $60 from Rip's Garage Tech. I've seen a lot about this company on Instagram, heard a lot about them. I've never tried them myself. I still haven't, but I did pick these up at Blade Show, walked by their booth. They saw me, I handed them my business card, and they handed me 2 bottles of this. So we've got the original knife pivot lube and the heavy. I really don't have much to say about them right now, other than that they're highly regarded by people on Instagram. Interesting stuff. I will be looking forward to trying it out, and I can tell you guys more about it once I do. But these are $15 and $20 for a bottle, respectively. And finally, this knife is probably one of the more, not sentimental, what's the word? I don't know. This is the knife that meant a lot to me, getting this. Winkler is about 2 hours from here. He's just a legend in the knife world. He makes killer knives. I've got a goal of buying a Winkler knife at some point. I just went by, introduced myself, and I told them I'd do some EDC stuff online. And they gave me this knife and said, "Tell us this isn't one of the best EDC knives you've ever had. It's really small, inconspicuous, and it's awesome." It has CPM 154 steel, which is great. It's a great value. I think they said this retails for like $95 or somewhere in there, somewhere around $90. Pretty cool. It's not listed on their website, so I don't know what this is or what it's called or really anything about it other than the blade seal, because I asked that before I left. But it can be attached to a neck, like a necklace or a lanyard, or you can clip it to something, and the retention of the Kydex holster is pretty good too. So pretty cool little blade. I'm happy with this. I love the little arrows on the handle, and I now have a Winkler knife. Not quite the Winkler knife I was looking to add to my collection, but I'm happy to have this. I think it's a really cool little deal. And you've also got some milled holes here in the handle, so you can wrap paracord if you wanted, which could give you a little extra grip. But pretty cool little pickup. Thanks for letting me check this out, Winkler. I almost forgot to mention this. I picked this up at Blade Show as well. This is a Prometheus Lights Beta QRV2 in titanium. This is a little special because this is the only one they make in-house. At least that's what they told me. So really neat little flashlight. I don't know a ton of information about it because I looked for the titanium version online and I couldn't find it, but he handed me this one in person, and I will cherish this forever because it is such a sweet little light. The quick release on this is just awesome. Really neat flashlight. I would love to check out some more stuff from Prometheus, but I did not realize how expensive the alphas are. But just from what I understand, worth it. That is going to do it for this video. If you found it helpful and you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe to see more stuff like this in the future, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. If you want to check out anything I talked about in this video or purchase one for yourself, everything I talked about will be linked down below, so just click through those links. Some of those are affiliate linked, and if you purchase anything using those links, I'll get a little bit of a kickback. So it's just a way for you to show support and get the gear that you wanted anyway. If you want to support in another way, you can go to patreon.com/bestdamnedc, or just like the video, subscribe, and just do you, because all of those things help as well. Be sure to follow us around the web. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at bestdamnedc. You can find me, Taylor Martin, on Twitter and Instagram at coverage.pertek. And until next time, carry on.